Hi there, lovely stitchers. Today we're going to make a Yorkshire button, but we're going to make it into a little Christmas pudding a la Christmas in July. So they're quite sweet. I've just made a couple in two different kinds of weights of thread, but I'm going to do a smaller version of this one today, and we will start off by having a little look at the templates. Now you can download these on my website, which is linked below, and if you go into FREEBIES, the Yorkshire button template is there. My tip is to cut it out onto some thick card. These little things from a well-known brand are ideal. I save lots of these and use them for all kinds of things. A ice cream carton, the plastic from that is really good as well. I did cut one out, but I cannot find it anywhere. Or if you are feeling a little bit flush and want to treat yourself, Anne Brookes on Handmade has these little templates in her shop, which I ordered some because I do lots, so but they're really good value for money, so I would recommend heading over there. I'm not sure whether she ships internationally. You'll have to have a little look on her website. So first things first, we're going to create the icing on the button first. So how to start off your Yorkshire button is, right, I'm going to start with this creamy coloured thread. And you probably want a good couple of arms lengths stretched right out from sort of your chin to your, as long as your arm will go. That is what I would do for a start. And you'll need a needle with a large eye. This is a tapestry needle, a crawl needle, and maybe a blunt end would be good. And just thread it up. You've got a lot of thread going on, so pull it as far down as you can. So with your template, your needle and thread, you want to come up through the center hole, okay, and pull it most of the way through, but hold on to that tail end, and you want that at the back. Just hang on, try not to have it too long because you're going to tuck it in. And how you are going to weave is you're going to wrap around the back of the first cog and come down to 6 o'clock. So you've got 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you're coming down to 6 o'clock, wrap around to 7 o'clock, go up to 1 o'clock, and wrap around, come back down and go around. I'm going to turn this around, but you'll be going to 8 o'clock, so you're virtually coming directly down every time. Make sure you're hanging on to the back of your thread so that doesn't come through. You want it quite tight, so wrap around, up, around, come down, wrap around, and you're going back up. So you've gone round everything once, apart from this one, which you've gone around a couple of times, you can see. So if you look on the back, you've kind of got you've gone round every other one. So what we're going to do now is going to go around the ones that are missing. So we're going to go around, down, up, around, down. So you're sort of doing a clock, but you're coming down to number 6 if you every time. Hold it along, and then you're going to come up to the center. So you've got 2 wraps on every spoke, and if you look on the back, I've got a thread on each of the cogwheel things, Okay, so if you haven't got that, you've gone wrong somewhere. Okay, so we've gone up to the centre. Don't go over the top of that one, because what we're going to do is just, you'll need your thread kind of, you want your thread single, not double. I'm just a bit twisted. Yeah, stretch that out. So I'm going to come up to the centre with this working thread, and my needle is going to go tuck it under. I'm going to sort of come around, because I don't want to go through any of the threads. I don't want to split any threads. So I'm tucking my needle underneath, because I'm coming up with my needle directly opposite. Pull it through directly. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, I see. Oh, what on earth's happened there? Oh, it's okay. I've undone myself somehow. What happened? Oh, I see. Yeah, it's okay. Best laid plans and all that. I've unhooked myself there. Look, that's it. I'm back on. So I've come up into the centre. Sorry about that. Into the centre of my spokes, and I'm going to go back under. That's what I mean. You have to make sure you're hanging on quite well until you sort of get your stitch in. I'm going to go back under again. Try not to split any threads. That's why a good blunt needle is best. And go through a couple more. I have split the thread. I have split the thread. Oh my goodness me. If you split your thread, this is what not to do. If you split your thread, you can't move this down to the centre. So I'm glad in a way I've done it wrong. So I'm just going to pull that through, and I'm going to go back to Old Faithful way of doing it, and and show you my preferred method. So I like to use the eye end and not that end, because it's very rare that you can split your thread doing that. Okay, so we've done two little mistakes. You would think that I'd be able to do these without a hesitation and without a mistake. So I'm going underneath all the thread. I want to do about 3 and come up. So I'm going backwards with my stitch. And then you'll pull a little stitch and that'll tighten it up. And then I would go back. So I'm sort of making a cross with my thread. Back up, and you can come up any one really then, because we're going to start making the spokes. Up and over. I don't think the camera will pick this up, but I've kind of got a little cross stitch going on there. So, right, I'm going to pull my thread down towards the middle and really pull it quite tight. Let's just get rid of the red thread. Oh, I'm getting all muddled up. Right. Okay, so we're going to sort of do a woven or whipped wheel. So if you're doing it on a flat piece of embroidery or flat piece of fabric, you would have done your spokes and then you're going to whip the wheel. But we're doing it on a template, so we can lift this off. So you've got your thread up between 2 spokes. You see that? And I'm just going to pull that nice and tight. Then I'm going to go back over a spoke and 1 on. So I'm going under 2 spokes. And then I'm going to pull that nice and tight. So you've got a little whipped stitch. I don't know whether the camera's going to pick that up. You've got a little tiny whipped stitch, so your thread's gone over and under. So let me see if I can show you. So you're going underneath this stitch that you've just come up at. So you're going backwards, back, underneath the next one, and pull through. Can you see that I've got a little wound stitch? I want to move that down because I want it to be as tight into the centre as I can. So push that down, pull. Don't be afraid to pull your stitches down towards you. So I'm going back and forward 2. Okay. So back 1, forward 2. And just keep pushing them down tightly, and you'll see they've got little whipped stitches. Okay, so back 1, forward 2. I'm going to do that all the way. Oh my gosh, I think I get a bit muddled up when I'm on camera because I'm trying to do it in a way that you don't see all my hands and you see the stitches. So we're going to keep on going round, but you see what I mean with the back end of the needle and eye end, it's so much easier. You're not splitting your threads. I do that with a lot of things. If you've been following me for a while, you'll see, you'll know. So I'm going to go around all the way, keep going. Pushing them down nice and tight. They want to be really buttered up next to each other. Don't make them too loose. So on that stitch I went round, on this one, sorry, I've gone round a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times. But we'll have a look, see how many I go round. So back around. So you just keep on going for a few rounds. Back 1, forward 2. And if you pull your thread towards you, that tightens it. If you have a loosish thread, it doesn't have the same effect. You get quite holy effect. If you make Dorset buttons, it's the same kind of principle, but we're going to make a little dome. So how many we've got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get into your rhythm, it's quite therapeutic. I was reading an article somewhere, probably in the embroidery magazine or something, and they were saying the methodical process of embroidery or hand stitching is a huge dopamine fix because it's repetitive and your brain likes that repeat of a situation, that nice slow repeat. Whether that's true, I don't know. Please don't make it, quote me on it, but I like to think it's true. So I'm sort of pulling, and I would say we're going to go to about 1/3 of the way. I'm just going to look and see, get my stitches. How many have I done there? I think I need to do a few more there. If you want, you can mark on the thing where you've began, but you can actually count if you've got a big enough thread, and you can sort of see where you've been. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the little drizzles that have come down the side. So I'm going to wrap one of the spokes, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to do 4 on that and come under that one and miss it out and come to the next one. So I've gone 1, 2, 3 underneath 3. So I'm missing out that middle spoke. Can you see? Oh, sorry, I've gone off screen. I've gone under that, back under that one, under 2, under 3, and I'm missing out this spoke, and I'm going to wrap this again. Hold on, I just need to lengthen my thread. Right. And you can make them as long as you want, or as short as you want. Just give them some little bit and some. How many did I do? 3, 4. I forgot how many I did. So I'm going to go under that one and miss it, under this one and come up. So I'm making like the little drizzly bit. You can see that I've got a bit of thread crossing over. Don't worry about that at the moment. We'll sort that out when we change thread. So wrap. 2, 3, 4. Some I'll do 3, some I'll do 4. Under 1, 2, 3, 4, under that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go 3. Oops, covered myself. Trying with these, they do tend to want to wrap over on top of each other. These ones that we're doing, the icing drizzle, but just make sure you sort of make them flat against one another so they're butting up rather than on top. Okay, so to finish off, I'm going to go underneath all of my threads to the back, and not to the back, to one across from it. Right, and I will just snip that off. Oh, scissors don't want to come. Get rid of that bit of thread, and I'm swapping to my darker colour again. Do a couple of arms lengths, couple and a half arms lengths. Give yourself from chin to stretch out arm, and an extra bit. A couple of those. 2.5. Let's go 2.5. Thread up the needle, and it doesn't matter where you started. You can sort of pick up, but usually to find out where you started your finished your thread off, you'll see that you can't see that thread that's going across. So that's where I last finished. So I'm going to come up here. So I'm going to come from the back, from up the opposite side, and kind of come up opposite it. Pull all the way through. You won't see these tail ends because they will be hidden, so just be careful you don't pull it all the way through. And I'm going to come up on the spoke that I missed out. I'm just going to go under it. Oh gosh, sorry, did I go off screen? So I've come up under one of the spokes I've missed out. I had to go back and wrap it. Now here's the sort of the hardest little bit of it, I want to come under that next spoke, but over that bit of thread. Let me see if I can find something to point with that's a little different colour. I don't think I've got anything. Over, so you're going under this spoke that we've wrapped extras on, but the little bit of thread that's crossing over, you want to come across the top of it if you can, and then underneath that next spoke, and then pull all the way through. Just be careful you don't pull too hard and pull your threads out. So you've wrapped that one of your spokes that you've missed out, and now we're going to wrap the spokes we've missed out, but we want to hide these threads here. So we're going to go over and over that one and under. That does seem a bit complicated, I know, but you'll see what I'm trying to achieve, because you want to cover. So you're going back and under, but you want to come up, tuck that in, back and under, miss this one out, miss your thread one out, you already wrapped one, over the top of the thread that's diagonal and underneath the spoke. Oh my gosh, that seemed very complex, but it isn't. I'm making it sound quite complex, I think. So we're going back, back, tuck that under, over the thread, oops, over that thread. Oh, sorry. Let's start again, because that was a bit. So we're going back over, back and under that one, under your next one that you've already wrapped with white, and you want to go over the little diagonal thread and under the next spoke. This, you're making the Yorkshire button if you're just using one colour and not making these little icing things, is far easier. There is another video on the YouTube channels if you look, so don't worry, don't think, oh my god, this is way too complex. It's not. So back under, miss that one, underneath the, over the top of the thread and under the spoke. Yeah, so if you're only doing one colour, you wouldn't be doing all this fuss. It is not that difficult. This isn't difficult, it's just that obviously me trying to explain it is making it seem like it's a lot more difficult than it actually is. Remember, you only want one thread. So I'm missing out that one. I'm going to come over that thread again, just because I think you'll see it if I don't. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tuck, push it down under. So we're hiding it. It's all about manipulation. You'll be fine. And of course, if there are any questions, I'm here to answer. So I'm starting to tuck it under now, so you won't see it. And actually, on my example one, there is a little bit where you can see it, but I'm not going to worry about it. Tuck it under, tuck that down, wrap it over again. Until you need to carry on wrapping your brown until you meet each top of each spoke. So if you've done 3 on some, 4 on another, I'll show you what I kind of did. Tuck you under. So sort of rule of thumb, you're going round a couple of times over the top of those diagonal threads, and then you're going to tuck it in and you won't see it from now on. Okay, so we're not going to worry about it. So I'm going to go back. I'm missing out that spoke because I'm not quite at level with it. Oh. So when you get level, that's when you want to carry on. Just keep on going. I always think to myself, I'm sure I'm making this so much more difficult than it actually is. Or I'm over explaining, I don't know. One or the other. So I'm sort of got to about 3 on most of them. 3 wraps, that's 2 wraps. I'll just go around again. That one is 1, 2, 3. So I'm kind of on a level with that. So this one's become level now. So on the next wrap round, I will wrap that as well. Again, same with that. But I know I've got a few with a 4 on this one. So I might have to miss that one out. We'll see. I'm starting to wrap on 4 there, look. That's a 4th. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's got 4. Yeah. You'll see when you get level. But you've just got to remember if you did 3 or 4. So there we are. We are going to now, that's got a 4th. So that's level with that. So we're going to go wrap around. So forward 2. And wrap around that one. Just push that down a little bit. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to start wrapping every one again. So I'm going to make the base of our pudding. I've got a knot in it. Let's just get rid of the knot. That's better. Thread's a bit long. You do tend to get quite ravelled up when you have long threads, don't you? I've said this before, but oh, hang on. Oh yeah, I have. So I'm just not pulled it tight enough for that one. Make sure you're pulling tight enough. You start getting a bit loopy. There we go. My granny used to call us the lazy tailor if you had a long thread. Obviously with this you don't want to be stopping and starting your thread if you can help it. Again though, on the other video of just ordinary Yorkshire buttons, I show you how to stop and start if you run out of thread. So we're going to keep on going all the way to the end, wrap in, back 1, forward 2 again. So you sort of got a little star wagon wheel type thing. And I'm going to go right, keep going until I get to the very end, but I'm going to stop and I'll come back and do that. I'll show you what I'm going to do because you really don't need to watch me doing that. Okay, so I'm almost to the end, and what I will say is you want to keep wrapping around your spokes until you can't get any more on, because what you don't want is a great big gap in your Yorkshire button, which is what I got there, look. So that's what you don't want. So keep on going. It does feel a little bit tight, but you can wiggle them underneath, so keep on going, persevere. And at this stage, make sure you're pulling quite tight with your thread as well, because it's got a little bit twisted on itself. You might want to hold it up and unspin it like that, because it starts to knot itself up. But that's just it's just what happened with embroidery thread, isn't it? Because it's just twisted and it wants to twist back upon itself. It is always the case. I know this is little cotton yarn, the Happy. Is it Sadir? Sadir? I can't remember. Happy yarn anyway. Crochet yarn. This is a way you kind of try and not split your threads. I think I'm going to try and go around once more, and then I'll fasten off. We'll finish it off, not fasten it. I think I can just get one more in. As I say, make sure you're pulling your threads quite tight, because you don't want to. I've got a little lump there, I can see. But it'll hide. We'll hide it. We'll hide it with a stitch. Oh, can I get in that one? Even if you're using a thinner thread, it's always better to use a good thicker needle, because you don't want to be bending or breaking your needle. And at this, when you get to this kind of stage, they're quite tough to get through. Well, mine always seem to be. I think it's because I like to go right to the end. I think I might just get one more there. Maybe one more. Okay. I could probably do another one there, but I'm not going to. Right. So next is I've come up through the top, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to go down through one of the wraps on the spoke. Can you see I've gone underneath it? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it off there and pull my thread all the way through, and I'm going to do that underneath all of them. So I'm sort of like flicking it. I've actually gone through that thread. Just go back through it. There we are. Again, try not to split your threads. This feels a bit more difficult, but it should be okay. Don't get them all off before you stitch through them. You can kind of hook them off when you start getting there. Make sure you're coming up through, because you want to. They act like a bit of an anchor for your thread to pull through when you're ruffling it up, pulling it tight. So I've kind of gone through every one. Well, I have gone through, not kind of. So I've gone through every loop, and then I can get rid of my little template. The little tail comes out. So I've got a flat side, and then I've got a ribbed side. Okay. So we're going to pull on your working thread and pull those quite tight. You get a bit of a loopy, sometimes get a bit loopy, but don't worry about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of stuff in, get a little stuffing tool. A flathead screwdriver works wonders. I do use chopsticks and all kind of things, but this kind of can sort of get, I don't know, seems to work a little bit better. I'm going to try and get another bit in, pull it a bit tighter, and then add a little bit more. Just add tiny bits at a time, because if you don't add little bits at a time, it starts to get, you can't get the shape. You might have one bit down further than, one bit of stuffing further in than another. I've got a bit of a loop going on where I didn't go right way around, but I'm not going to worry, because I'm going to pull that stitch in there. Look, just going to have a little look. Can you see? Yeah, you can always make them look a little bit different. Pull them in with your stitches. So I'm going to finish off by pulling my stitch across, and I'm just going to give it a bit of shape. Now, you can make a little shank for them, like they were originally designed to have, so you can have them as a, sew them on as an actual button. This is purely decorative in the fact that I've got this little tiny toadstool cake stand. Well, I don't know, I think it might be a candle stand, but I saw it as a cake stand. It's from Dunelm, by the way, if you're in the UK, and it was only a couple of quid. Right, so I've got, I don't, for some reason I've got a little lump there, but I'm not going to worry. Okay, so if you were going to make a shank, you'd kind of make a loop and then buttonhole stitch over it. If you were, the other thing I like to do is I like to make miniature pin cushions with them. Right, I'm going to finish, pull that tight, let's have a look at the shape. Yeah, lovely. I like to make a miniature pin cushion, and what I'll do is I'll cut a little tiny piece of felt and stick it on the back, or stitch it on the back, depending on what I've got to hand. Oh, right, I am going. So to finish it off, I'm just going to stick my needle through. Oh, it doesn't want to do it, and come up, and then just snip my stick, snip my thing, thread off. Oh, is it gone? It's gone. Okay, so we've got our basic. I'm just going to tuck you in. Or is that a bit? Yeah. A basic Christmas pudding. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some holly berries and leaves. I've got a bit of sparkly, that'll do me. And there's no right or wrong way, whatever leaf you want to do. I'm just going to do a few stitches and make them a suggestion of a berry, holly leaf. I'm going to come up through the bottom and to the centre. There, can you see? To the centre part. And I'm just going to gently pull till that disappears. There we are. I don't put a knot in. I'm just going to go down. You could do a lazy daisy stitch, which I have done on the tiny one, but I'm going to just do a couple of long stitches. just a suggestion of a leaf. Don't, I mean, if you want to put, you can put bits of fabric on, that'd be fine. You could actually stitch a posh leaf in embroidery. Oh, come on, you don't want to go through. Excuse me. I have got a pull. Oh, I have got a thread puller, needle threader puller thing somewhere. Probably in my needle box, my travelling needle box that I've had out. Oh, you are knotted up. Come on. That's it. And again. So. Knotty thread today. So you probably want 3 leaves on, don't go crazy. And it doesn't matter where you put them, or which way you put them, or how big they are, how small they are. Just a little suggestion of a leaf. There we go. And I'm going to go back, down and through. And my thread's a little bit, got a bit loopy there, but I'm not worried. I don't mind. Snip that off. Don't put a knot in. Obviously, if they were going to be washed and worn or something like that, you'd be a bit more, you'd make them a bit more secure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some beads on. So you could do a French knot, but I've got some red beads. Oh, I put them away. Let's just get those out. Those ones, I think, will go there, a bit smaller. These are just off necklaces and things that I find. Again, come up through. I've got a little short beading needle on and I wish I'd got a bigger one, but threading these are like an absolute nightmare. So just come up through the centre somewhere. I've just got some ordinary sewing cotton. This is a vintage one. I love these Silco ones that say the colour Oriental Poppy. They're so sweet. And just give it a little lock stitch so it doesn't come through, and add your beads. Hope that'll go through. It does. Rule of thumb, 3s and 5s. Heather will tell you. Heather's an ex, well, she's not an ex-florist at all. She is still a florist. She's still qualified as a florist, but floristry, it's always 3s and 5s. Or gardening. Odd numbers. Which, yes, it does look nice. So you just pop as many on. Oh gosh, you can't see, can you? You see? Does it want to focus? Let's take my hand out of the way. You can sort of see, but do, when you're stitching them on, just make sure you're sort of lock stitching down every now and then. What I mean by lock stitch is just going backwards and forwards, because then if something happens and a thread comes undone, not all your beads are going to come off. I'm trying to get one on the top of there, but it doesn't seem to want to pop on. Come on. Keeps going to one side. Right, you're going to go on there. And I'm just going to go back down through the base, and I will put a little tiny lock-in stitch in. There we are. So you can't see it. Tiny, tiny. And back again. Snip that off. put the lid on that before they go everywhere. Pop the needle away. And hey presto, give it a little bit of a roll round to, there's your little pudding. How adorable is that? Okay, and you can do them in any kind of size. We've got 3 different sizes there. Sweet. So I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit of fun for Christmas in July. And I hope I haven't put you off making Yorkshire buttons, I really do. And if you've enjoyed it, please give it the thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed, why the heck haven't you subscribed yet? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And obviously the notifications bell too, that would be wonderful. And I do try and answer the comments that you pop in, and I do get some lovely comments, and I will say hello to all those lovely people that comment. It's a shame that we can't sort of do show pictures on YouTube, but at this moment in time you can't. But please do get in touch and send me a picture of ones that you've done, or tag us in them. That's always nice. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're even on TikTok now. So yeah, and Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. So yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy stitching!